Welcome to the Sandbox, the #1 podcast for Sandbox gamers and hardcore PvP action. But be warned, viewer discretion is advised. And now your hosts, Bullet, Quint, and Nate Brown.
Welcome to episode number 39 of the Sandbox. Today we're going to talk about the most epic battle in EVE's history. More on SOE's unannounced Sandbox title, Ultima Online, on the move again, and lots of EQ next Landmark Alpha. With me as usual is Quint.
Hey, what's up?
And Nate Rao.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's good.
So let's get started with what we normally do here. Is what have you been playing, Nate?
So I'm still in FF14, stayed sub since it launched, but I'm leveling pretty slow. I've been back into it though, and I played it like last night to 2 in the morning. Just got to level 30 on my Lancer, so I can become that multi-special class, the Dragoon. You have to have Marauder to 15, Lancer to 30, and then you can pick up the Dragoon.
Nice.
So, one more quest. I can do the jumping ability thing.
Do you find it ironic that with that intro that just says for hardcore Sandbox gamers and PvPers, and we start Final Fantasy 14?
Hey, there's PvP in there. Not that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
In it?
Yeah, they with the 2.0 patch, 2.1 patch, I think it put in PvP.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
you have to give it a try so we can talk about it next time.
Yeah, and then I've been playing EverQuest 1. Every time I go into my box where my comics are, right next to it I found my old gold box EverQuest 1. It's got a cloth map in it, a statue, like a little figurine.
Nice.
So
I have one of those too.
Yeah, I bought this I think right after Planes of Power came out. And then, of course, I played it in 1999 before college. So I see that thing. It makes me want to play it. So I finally downloaded it. I'm running through the new tutorial, which is weird because they shoehorn in questing into EverQuest 1. Because old EverQuest, right, you'd log in and you're immediately killing squirrels and rats like outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you have a tutorial teaching you the mechanics, and then a whole series of quests inside a zone.
Yeah. Oh, the new intro. It's been like that for a while. It's
Yeah.
not bad, though.
You know what? You know what I remember about playing when you mentioned first logging into EverQuest 1. I remember having 2 characters but not knowing anybody, so I would like run and find some place to like put one character, then log into the other character, then run around and put that character like in some place where no one was, and then drop the item, log out, and then log back in and pick up the item. You know, it's funny that you can't do that in MMOs anymore. Very few MMOs actually have, stuff that stays on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that still the case? I guess I'll log in and try to drop something. I know you could drop items, but I just assumed that it would go nowhere.
Well, no, they disappear after a couple minutes, and sometimes other people could just come along and pick them up.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
there was no rights to it when you dropped it.
Yeah.
That's why I would like run around like and find some like little hiding place.
Mm-hmm.
That character there, then run the other character there, so he was right there. So you had to do it quick.
Yeah, I always played Dark Elves in that game, so my whole spot was I would go, if you're looking at the entrance to Neriak, which is like built into the side of a wall, off to the right, there's this, you eventually, if you follow that wall to the right, you'll hit a group of trees, and there was always this one tree that was like the first one. I'd go behind that tree and then drop my stuff and then have another character waiting there to pick it up, so.
Yeah.
Well, this gloomy deep dungeon, once you get past the first like walk around, talk to 10 people where they feed you a bunch of text, this intro dungeon is kind of cool. Even though you're doing quests in EverQuest, it's still very EverQuest 1 like big open dungeons with spiders and trolls. I don't know, it's cool. Another new feature they have now is mercenaries. So I talked this one mercenary. It was one NPC and then you get a little like side helper. So I picked up a healer. So
Mm-hmm.
as I'm playing the game, I've got a healer behind me healing.
Yeah, Mercenaries was an awesome thing, that addition they made to that game.
Yeah, there seemed like a lot of people in the beginning, but being EverQuest 1, it's got to be massively top heavy. So I bet you, like, once I hit level 30, there'll be no one around. So it's not a bad idea. But while looking around, figuring out what to play, I saw someone post in the massively article, Project 1999. You guys heard of that?
Yeah, I have it. I play it from time to time. It's awesome.
So, I mean, that's the EverQuest I played, right?
Uh-huh.
So, because I went to college in 2000, didn't play anymore. So that summer before was 1999, Kunark and Velios were
Mhm.
out. And that's exactly what this thing emulates. So,
Did they add Velius to it? I'm not sure if they did. I think it might
You know,
still be Kunark.
I think they're still working on Velios, so it's probably just Kunark.
Yeah.
Do you still have to stare at your? I wonder if you played it, Quinn. Do you still have to stare at your book when you meditate?
No, it's a modern UI, but old school mechanics.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I looked at some streams and YouTube videos of it. It looks like 1999 EverQuest. I don't think it has all the graphic updates in it.
Mhm.
It might. I don't know. I may go check that out. That's really old school, and I don't know that will actually be any fun with the corpse looting, corpse crawls, and
The old school is actually pretty fun, man. I kind of like it better than new EverQuest. It just
yeah. I mean, that
that's what I want.
server's
That's what I used to play. That's what I loved.
that server's got like 700 players on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks pretty active.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I'll
it's
play.
really
I'll
active.
play. I think I'll finish the tutorial, get out in the open world in EverQuest 1, and then maybe check out the 1999 and see if I want to keep playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like all I've been playing with all my free time is Star Wars Galaxies emulators. So last podcast 2 weeks ago, I was playing it for a while, and I'm still into it. Just hit. We're working towards Novice Rifleman. The game's interesting. There's a lot of weird mechanics. So, for instance, I bought a whole set of armor, composite, like badass minisuit armor. Cost me 25,000 gold, and I can't wear it because my stats aren't good enough. So the game requires you to like do a couple things. You can migrate all of your stats from one stat to another, so you can wear the armor at all times, or you go to doctors, entertainers, get a bunch of buffs, and then wear your armor, which is what most people do.
Yeah.
So when you log in the game, you can't wear your armor. You have to like go around a bunch of players, get your buffs, and then put your armor on.
Really?
It's just a really weird system. And then
Yeah.
I guess what I bought was what they call a mini suit. So it's a headpiece, a chest piece, boots, and gloves. So it's like no arms, no pants. But that particular combination gives you equal full body protection as a whole suit. I guess like stat wise, because if you were a whole suit, right, you'd have to have even more of a stat loss.
Right.
So you wear like a half suit. I don't know. It's just weird. It's not natural. It's awkward. What I do like though is just a player interaction. I talked to a doctor for a while, got my buffs, hung out with an entertainer, talked to that person, got my buffs.
Yeah, man. It's old school. It's like sitting around in Ultima Online back in the day, sitting around the Britain Forge, getting your stuff repaired, talking to the blacksmiths and all that stuff. That was
Yeah,
cool
and then-
times back in the day.
All those buffs last for like 2 hours.
Mhm.
So I want to use them. I spent, I think, 5K on the doctor buffs. So that was my first time actually getting these buffs, which it was extreme. I mean, I went from 1,000 HP to 2,500 HP. I went from 1,000 action bar to like 2,800 action bar.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And then it was like when I would get hit, I would heal. Whereas before, I'd have to wait to sit down until after the fight. So I was like rocking through things. It's almost like a mandatory feature to go get your buffs to do the harder content. So got a new weapon. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I think next I want to dive more into my crafting character. It's a sweet game. Definitely old school, a lot to learn.
It's old
complex
school for
mechanics.
sure.
Very into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it for me. I've really dumped all my time into that game.
Yeah.
See yourself playing that for a while longer?
Yeah, I think so. It's grindy, but so when I get bored of grinding my rifleman stuff, I'll move to the medic. When that gets boring, I'll do my crafter, put down harvesters and stuff. I want to get a house. Probably if I quit, it'll be when I put the house down, and then I'm kind of in maintenance mode on that. And if I'm not having fun with it, of course, I'll stop.
So you're already planning your departure.
Well, I just know like that's my first major goal. Once I put the house down, with how grindy the game is, I may very well move on to something else. I don't know.
Cool. What about you, Quint?
You're totally gonna laugh. I've been playing a little bit of Dragon Age.
Of course.
Heck
Well,
yeah, man.
It's either that or Skyrim, right? Skyrim, Dragon Age, Skyrim.
Well, yeah, I play a little Skyrim too, but
Awesome.
I
Fallout.
I've got some cool mods in Dragon Age. Some cool armor mods and some hairstyles and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll mess around with this, see what it's all like. Download all those mods, and then I've logged in and realized I was in the Mage's Tower, which it's been so long since I played, I forgot I was in there, and that's where I am. So I'm just making my way through that. But
Is that the place where you? I mean, it's not really a spoiler. The game's been out for a long time. Is that
Yeah.
the place once you get captured?
I don't think so. No.
Well,
Is there a point where you get captured and they take all your stuff away and stick you someplace?
yeah, that's I think that might be in the dwarf's town, or maybe in Ferelden. I don't remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
Mage Tower is the alternate where you go to that weird zone, right?
Yeah, and so I have the mod and it works. So you just basically, instead of spending all the time trying to unlock the people in that weird phantom zone, the Fade or whatever, you just kind of run through really quick short instances and talk to your guys and wake them up, and then you go out, you fight the boss, and then you're out of there. Because that is like in original Dragon Age, that is the most grueling part of that game, and it's so hard to get through. It's just boring. It takes forever, so I hate that. But made it through there. I think I'm on the very last boss of the Mage's Tower, so I'm pretty much done with that section of it. So,
Have you ever actually solved the game? Finished it?
yeah, I've only beaten it completely through once, but yeah, I've done through that and all the DLC as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Have you, Nate?
Have I what?
Solved Dragon Age or finished it?
No. I really want to. I got a save that's pretty far into it, so I need to load it up, get back into it, and finish
Try
it.
to solve it without killing anyone.
Yeah, I don't know you can do that in Dragon Age.
I don't think that's possible. But I mean, out of all the DLCs, I like Witch Hunt the best. I think that's the only one that really continues the main storyline, because you're following what happened to Morgan, who's the witch that follows you and your party. So,
For her.
but yeah, it's cool.
I think there was a mod where you can have her naked the whole time.
Yeah, there is. I wouldn't know though.
Yeah. So, what do we know anything about Dragon Age 3? I've heard rumblings of it.
Oh
Yeah, there's a really good post on IHateMMORPGs.com that's full of factual information for Dragon Age 3.
Yeah, they've got some good in-game videos and stuff too.
God, that post is ridiculous.
What, Miguelito, right?
Oh yeah, he just puts up like a bunch of non-true rumors.
Oh my god, I haven't read
No,
that.
Yeah.
we don't know much. I mean, I think they had a couple of screenshots that look pretty good. Doesn't matter, right? We're all gonna fucking buy it and
Well,
play
no,
it.
they've got in-game video stuff too now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and it looks badass. Like, kind of like The Witcher. It looks like The Witcher a little bit. I don't know. It's like a little Skyrim, a little Dragon Age, a little Witcher, all mixed together.
That's the game I'm pumped up for. Is Witcher 3.
Witcher 3 looks cool. The thing is though, I could never play Witcher 2. I tried.
Yeah,
so
but
many times.
every one of these games is so different. Witcher 1 to 2 and 3 is sounding like it's nothing like 2.
Yeah.
So, sounding a lot more like a Dragon Age type of RPG.
Hmm. I don't know. What I do know about Dragon Age 3 is Dragon Age Inquisition, and they said they're trying to mix the combat and the combat action feeling of Dragon Age 2 with the tactics of Dragon Age 1, along with the customization and choice making of Dragon Age 1. So if that's the case, it's going to be like the best game ever, because I liked the combat in Dragon Age 2. It was very fast paced and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it though.
Sounds similar to what they did with Mass Effect 3. Kind of get a in between of 1 and 2
Yeah.
to make it more like 3. Yeah, so it's the same thing with Dragon Age. It'll probably be the best of all of them.
Hmm. So, but yeah, other than that, based on the recommendation of Cool It, started playing a little bit of Terra.
Sucker.
Yeah, I know, right? I actually started live streaming a little bit of Terra as well, but the first class I rolled was the guy with the big hand, double-handed axe, as Berserker, and I hated it.
That's everyone's least favorite class, I think, in the game. It's just
Really?
the animations are slow. So, like, the timing on a lot of those classes is just animation based. Like, so when you do your animation, and yeah, I have one of every character at least to level 10, and that was definitely my least favorite.
Yeah, I didn't like the Berserker either. I think I ended up settling on the Archer.
Really? Yeah, I ended up settling on the Warrior. So
That's probably one of the best melee classes.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Well,
they're
So,
it's really cool.
are you approaching it like a sandbox, or are you just killing things, or are you going through all the quests, or?
Well, you kind of have to go through the quest in the beginning. In the newbie isle, you got to make your way off of that thing. So
Okay.
I did that. I just reached the main town, and it's kind of like they send you on a little run around. You go talk to this person, go talk to that person. It kind of introduces you to the town, I guess. I haven't gotten much past there yet, though. But yeah, I'm on the Warrior, dual wielding swords, and it's very fast paced. It's I don't know, it's a really cool class, I think. It definitely changed the way I feel about the game, though. I'm probably going to end up trying to buy a copy of it online just so that I can get the founder status, because the bonuses that you get from that are like ridiculous.
Yeah, for $20 you can unlock, I think, 8 character slots.
Mm-hmm.
Buy those separately would cost you a lot. Then you get a mount, and you get
Full bags and full bank.
Yeah, the full bags is what I would get it for.
Yep. And it's crazy because the only way to actually get that is you have to like find a box copy. They have them on Amazon, but you can't just like go on their website and like upgrade to that status.
Yeah, they must have found, like, because for a while you couldn't get them. I found mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right when it went free to play, they announced that there would be people who owned the box. So I went looking, and I found mine like behind some other stuff in a Walmart.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that. You're like, dude, I just found you should go buy a box of Terra at Walmart. I actually looked after you told me that, and they didn't have any at mine. So
Yeah, I looked too. They had none.
they actually have one at a GameStop by my house. I called over there, but it's like they still charge them $40 for it.
So what you could, instead of like doing all the quests, you have to get at least to, and I think it's 15 or 20, level 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
You start running the first dungeon.
Yeah.
And you run that a bunch of times, and I can actually run through it and get all the best gear for you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you're kind of over geared, then you just can farm mobs. I kind of bounce back and forth. I'll do a quest here or there just to, just get out of the way. But you can really get, you can get almost a full level if your team wins a battleground.
Okay.
And I think that's after level 30, though. But yeah, definitely, twink your character. And I have enough gold to twink your character. Twink your character, and then just go and fight things like in masses a little bit above your level.
Yeah.
Real fast. Like, there's a couple guys I was playing with for a while who leveled their characters to max level in 3 days.
Really? Holy
But I
crap.
don't know how to do that. Like, I had the instant level 58, and then I switched over to, a ranger or an archer, whatever, and I started playing him, and he's at level 52 now, so he's getting there.
Yeah.
My lancer, who's 60 now, I use him to farm gear basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can get you set up.
All right. Yeah. Totally.
Well,
I'm down.
I like it because you were a fan of Reckoning Kingdom Lure, and the combat kind of reminds me of that.
No, it feels a lot like that.
Yep.
It feels weighty. You can feel it's very impacty when you're swinging. It's kind of little Diablo 3-ish.
The opposite of that is a floaty feel, right?
No, yeah, but I mean,
What do
when
you
you
feel?
it's like they add something about the sound and the animation or something. You kind of feel the impact.
Yeah, and when you guys swings the sword through the air, it kind of warps the air, through the sword and stuff. It looks like you're slicing through water or something. It looks cool. It looks really good.
Yeah, I never thought that game got the justice it deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I quit right after the newbie island, and I hit the second quest hub,
Mhm.
and it was just really boring, bland quest after another, and I quit. I've got that level 58 archer, the instant max characters they gave you,
Mhm.
so I could always download it and check it out again and skip right to the end game.
Well,
But I don't know how that will go.
you know what? There's a couple things you need to realize that happen in that game. There's first of all, the sockets in your weapons are huge, and you'll start getting those. But there's also glyphs. So glyphs are kind of like a skill tree for your character. So all the skills you have, like you would have, I don't know, like your slash or whatever. There's a glyph that goes with it that changes the ability. So you get so many glyph points, and certain glyphs take more or less points. So for instance, I have like one of the skills I have. It's like I draw my bow back, and it charges.
Mhm.
But when it's charging, I run slow. So there's a glyph that prevents me from running slow when it's charging. And it's like depending on what skills you're going to use, and depending on if it's a PvP, you want to kind of put the right glyphs in there. It's kind of like tweaking your character,
Okay.
specking out. So in that town that you're in, there's the trainers there. You're going to want to go there, and you may only have 1 point available for glyphs, but I'll walk you through that.
I probably have got some skills to train too. The only time I ever trained a skill in that game was like the very first time you go to a trainer. I never went back to him through that whole newbie experience.
Yeah, you're going to need to go train then. But a lot of the skills you get are like, well, here's like whatever crush, and here's crush 2, and here's crush 3.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of repetitiveness there, but the newer skills definitely do more damage.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to get back in there and play it a little more. I definitely didn't give it the chance I feel it deserved, when I first played it, but damn, that questing is bad.
Well, questing it's not even questing. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
here, tell you where to grind.
I know, pretty much. It's like tasks, go kill 5 of these,
Then it kind of like if you follow the quest, there's like a hub,
Mm-hmm.
like 5 quests there.
Yeah.
And you just take the quest. You don't need to read it because there's like a little indicator over the heads of the mobs you're supposed to kill. So you get all the quests and you run around and they say, oh, there's an indicator, so I'll just kill those guys until it makes the noise that means I finished the quest. And then once you do all those quests, there's a quest that takes you to the next quest hub. I mean, it isn't really questing. It's basically just, here's where you want to grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, disguised grinding, but not really.
But the advantage of it is that you get the experience for killing the mobs, and then you get experience for completing the quest. So it's like almost like double experience if you go the path they go. But I don't even think of it as questing. I don't read anything. I just grind, and if I hit and I take quests till my quest log's full. If I see the little guys with the thing over their head, I kill them till the quest is over. But
Yeah.
once you get a little further on, you can level all the way through PvPing, and quest here or there. I do the story quests and then just PvP. All right.
So yeah, and then that's it. That's it for Terra. As far as anything else, the last thing I've been really sinking a lot of time into is EverQuest Next Landmark, but I don't want to go too much into that just yet because I want to talk about that towards the end of the show. So,
Okay.
Cool it. What about you, man?
Well, since we've podcast last, I was in Mexico for a lot of that time. And so I didn't even play a game until this weekend. And, I think that we were talking in Google Hangouts and we figured out that we could play Landmark for $60. So
Yep.
I'm playing Landmark.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. I played a very little bit of Terra, just doing a couple dailies, which is, you get these tokens to buy better gear. And then I've been back into Age of Conan. When I first played Age of Conan, it was when it launched, and I've gone back a few times, but I don't think I've ever really played the game on max settings for graphics. The game has held up very well. It really looks nice. I've always liked the art style, and they have a server that is like their hardcore PvP server. I've been playing that, and the problem with that server is you can only have one character, and so I think I've remade that one character. I keep changing my mind.
Yeah.
So I played probably up to level 15. No, I played one up to level 21. So I keep re-rolling. So I'm basically still level 5.
Yeah.
But I think I've settled on a ranger or archer, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you because I've got a level 20 barbarian, and I feel like if we played that together, ranger barbarian would be like a lethal combo because rangers get stealth as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so do barbarians.
Assassins and I believe So I had a bear shaman,
Mhm.
and I hadn't played it in a long time. When they first made that server, I created that character, and he was level like 23, I think.
Yeah.
And I was in some place, and I didn't know the skills, and my bar was kind of reset, my hot bars, and I was just running around trying to do a couple quests, trying to learn the class, and there was like a level 50, just like dead, one shot dead. You wouldn't even let me do anything, and that could be frustrating, but I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that once you get up there in level, you're going to be safer, and maybe you have to be a little bit more. You have to strategize a little bit on where you're going to level and what times and stuff. I don't know. For a lot of people, that would be a turnoff, but for me, it's like it makes the game a little bit more challenging, a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'm going to stick with that for a month or so, and we're waiting for a few games to launch. I'm still going to play Terra here and there, maybe when you're on.
I mean, we've got 2 months until the Elder Scrolls Online comes out in April.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna try to get my character to max level in AOC and try out some of the. They've got some pretty crazy content PvP wise later on, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, there's sieges and all that stuff. I think at least there were. I don't know if they took it out, but you can.
that
have
stuff sounds
clan
really
bases
cool.
And stuff.
the problem is going to be getting to that content.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll make it, maybe we won't.
Solochin in chat is saying that he plays AOC and wants to know how to contact us. Cool. What's your character's name?
Cool it.
There you go. We're on the Rage server.
Yeah, I think that. Well, he has my email anyway. Email me. But yeah, if anyone else wants to play with us, like I said, I keep re-rolling. I think I'm going to stick now, and I think I'm like level 5. So you're definitely won't be hard to catch up. You can hit level 5 in like an hour, or like a half hour. What level are you, Quint?
20. I'm just out of Tortage, or like 21, and I'm at the gates of Katai, which is like, I guess, another level 20 starting area. So
Okay. I forget what race I am. I'm the top race.
yeah, I think I'm Sumerian barbarian, just like Conan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I literally, I think Nate was listening to me get frustrated last night. I literally 8 classes probably last night.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you hit like level 10 on a couple of them,
Oh my gosh.
and you're like, no, screw this class. We're making.
No, I mean, you can only have one character, and it's like, if you're not feeling it, don't get to level 30,
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I do like the idea. Like, I was rolling a Tempest of Set, and that's what I've played. I played one to max level on a regular PvP server. But the problem is that they've got nothing as far as like stealth or, they're kind of like, here I am. I'm going to try to stay alive, but there's no ingenuity behind, there's no sneaking or anything. So
Yeah.
What's the healer class to play on a PvP server?
there's the Priest of Mirror or something, and then there's the Tempest of Set, and then there's the Bear Shaman. There's a lot of people who play Bear Shaman. So I'm thinking that they are probably the uber healer there. What they are is you get a hammer, and again, I'm not an expert, so if I'm wrong, then whatever. You get a hammer, and then you cast these spells that proc when you're using your hammer that heal you and your party, and they may have some direct heals as well. Like I said, I couldn't remember all the stuff they do, but they're a fun class. A lot of people are playing that. You might like that class if you played,
Yeah, it sounds cool.
but you might wait until the game's no longer exists and play the emulator of it.
Yeah, that's my current MO, right?
Yeah, but that's about all I've been playing. Now that I'm back from Mexico and things have settled down, I did plan on playing a lot more this week. I'm probably going to be in AOC, playing Landmark a bit, but we'll talk about that in a minute. It's what we've been playing.
All right.
So what's up in the news?
Well, let's hop right into the news then. First up on the order of business, I think this is going into Nate's realm here. The most monstrously huge, biggest, most epic battle of all time in the history of EVE has taken place. And there
We're
are some
gonna-
massive, massive real-world damages as far as money.
In the show notes, we will link the dev blog. It's a really good dev blog, even if you don't play Eve or follow all the terminology in Eve. This dev blog was kind of written from an outsider perspective. It really captures just the enormous stats and epicness of this battle. I mean, it lasted 21 hours. I think basically there's two factions in this nullsec war. You have N3, and then you have CFC and Goon Swarm. And one of the Pandemic Legion, which is in the N3, didn't pay their sovereignty bill for a particular system that housed all of their ships. It's like their staging system. So if they lose that system, they lose access to the station, and thus all the assets in it. So all their carriers and subcapitals. So of course this escalated very quickly to trying to control that system. And the battle was started in the morning. It lasted all the way until downtime. It quickly turned into they have time dilation. So when it loads, the game slows down to like 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So it took 21 hours to technically play like a 3-hour battle. But in doing that, every weapon gets fired, every damage gets applied. No one's getting kicked off the system or black screened.
So they have to, in order to maintain the frame rate or not crash the server, they have to like slow it down like that.
Right. I mean, this was like 3,000 players on one node, which is done. It's basically like one CPU handling that. They've got a couple super servers. So when this happens, they'll immediately kick it to their like military grade server.
So I heard, and I don't know if that they recommend like guild leaders or corp leaders letting them know when they're going to do something like that so that they can switch over to a bigger server.
Yeah, well, because there's timers, you can predict when the major battle will happen. So like the Batani or his underling will submit to CCP. Hey, we're going to have a fight here. Reinforce it, and they'll do that to make the battle smoother. A lot of these battles, they will bring super capital ships, which is the Titans, 30 billion, 25 billion-ish ships, super carriers. They don't typically die. One side will deploy them, the other side won't. If both sides deploy them, it's a pretty big deal, and usually lots of ships are lost. This one in particular, there was 70-something Titans die in one fight, which is almost the entirety of the whole last year or two in EVE. It works out to like some crazy amount of ISK in the trillions, like $300,000 worth of stuff.
Real world.
So crazy.
I mean,
This dude forgot to pay a bill. Right?
yeah. So I mean, N3 kept saying Goon Swarm won't deploy capitals. They did, and it turned into a race of when they send out the call, who actually answers the call and who commits their 30 billion-ish ship. And Goon Swarm CFC committed more. And I think the major turning point in the battle was a Russian commander for N3. I mean, it's a 21-hour battle, so you had to tag team someone else. And so when he logged off, there was some error in their communication, and they called a target. It took them, so they primaried one Titan. In the course of killing that one Titan, CFC killed 5 Titans. That was it. That was the whole turning point rest of the battle. So from then on, they're trading Titan after Titan. But N3 was now in a deficit, so they were losing Titans faster. Much faster. They lost 50 Titans, and Goon Swarm lost around 20. Yeah, it's a major event in EVE, for sure. And all that, the way EVE works, you have the high-sec miners mining, then you have the Care Bear doing all of his production, the high-sec, all that gets sent to JITA. All these nullsec corporations buy all that, and then it gets blown up out in nullsec. So the whole game is interworking with this. Cool idea for sure.
It's pretty crazy, man.
So
Yeah.
I think that they're putting up a monument in for the battle, like the area where the battle took place. That they're going to like put
Yeah.
something there to like that'll be permanent in the game.
They've done this a few times. This particular monument is neat. They're putting in the game brand new explosions. So when you kill a Titan, it's always a big deal. And now when you blow up a Titan, you're going to have this really cool looking wreckage of the Titan.
It's gonna make it like the Death Star in the remastered Star Wars when it blows up. It's all, like
Yeah,
that
so I think
ring.
this monument's going to have, I guess, a bunch of Titans blown up. And there's a couple Eve bloggers where all they do is they fly around space, they take screenshots, and they blog about that particular location.
I mean, it's kind of weird in that Eve has this sort of different meta game to it, in that you could just go in there and be like, I'm just going to be a reporter. I'm going to be a space reporter. And you could fly around and just follow the battles and report and like on a blog in real world. And like that's your experience of playing Eve.
Yeah.
It's
There's
crazy.
end game for anyone can be completely different. You can be isolated in a wormhole. You can set up all sorts of crazy stuff. The production is like producing ships is very detailed. Tech 2, Tech 3.
Very hard to get into.
You can make that your whole world. If you really love mining, you can go from mining in high sec to doing huge nullsec mining operations.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can dive into PvP all the way out to elite PvP nullsec alliances. What's cool with this major battle is to make this happen requires a lot of not just someone in that 30 billionist ship, but someone in the frigate. And a frigate can be played by a new player. So we're talking about Age of Conan having to grind through, a couple weeks to hit level 50, or however long it takes to do that. Whereas in Eve, you can 1 weekend hop in a tackling frigate and immediately play an important role in a battle.
Well, I know last time we all got into play together, we were doing station flipping like really fast. Got into that, and
We were doing faction warfare.
yeah, faction warfare.
was-
That's right.
Which is great for new player
Mhm.
and old player PvP because you can immediately log in and start killing people.
Yeah, but it
And
was really
cheap
quick to
ships.
get into as just starting over fresh. I think it only took me like two weeks maybe to get ready and get in a good ship and all that stuff. Even though I
Yeah,
sucked,
plus
and I don't
it's,
think I ever killed anyone.
That's actually good money for a new player. So you can PvP and make pretty good money, which is a nice trade-off.
Yeah.
Are
That's
you
probably
still-
what I would recommend. What's that?
Are you still playing Eve?
No, I went to resub to it, activated both accounts, got out with my nullsec alliance, which I would have been in this fight on the CFC side, and then we got into Mortal Online really heavy, and so I dropped it. It just my account actually went out like the day before this fight happened, and I didn't resub.
Oh man.
So I've got like 1 billion ISK worth of assets stuck in nullsec right now. I need to reactivate my account and at least get that stuff out until I want to play again. And a lot of times I'll stay subbed and keep my guy training.
What's a Plex worth right now in ISK?
600 million. You can buy a Plex for $20, or you can buy 2 Plex for $35.
Yeah.
So $35 it gets you like 1.2 billion ISK.
I'm gonna pass on Eve still.
Me
Final-
too. As much as I want to like it.
Last time I subbed, I played Final Fantasy. Last time I subbed to that, I played it for 5 minutes, and I think I played Eve for maybe like one evening last time
Yeah.
for me. So what else is in the news?
Next up, we got SOE is dropping more hints as pertaining to their new supposedly Sandbox game that's going to be all for the old Star Wars Galaxies players, which is starting to sound not so much like Star Wars Galaxies. It's supposed to be post-apocalyptic. Are they going zombie route? What's the deal with this?
Yeah, I think so they put one screenshot out of a building, like a church, which is very DayZ like, right?
Right.
So immediately people start thinking, this might be their DayZ. I mean, why not? They're cashing in on Minecraft. Let's cash in on DayZ.
Oh, that's your opinion.
Right. Well, so there's some trademark stuff happening with like some virus H1N1 thing. that SOE did. It's on Reddit. That could be zombies or it could be something else. The most telling comment was Smedley on Twitter, where he started talking about, do you consider the show Revolution sci-fi? And of course, people are saying no, it's post-apocalyptic, not sci-fi.
Well, yeah.
So, I think he thinks it's going to attract Star Wars Galaxy players because there's some base building.
Yeah, maybe the mechanics,
Right. I don't know. It's cool. There's a lot of money in SOE. So if they make a Daisy-like game, they have more money and more devs than someone like the Daisy and Rest guys do. So it could come out with a pretty decent game.
You know what? I think that if you say, I think he shot himself in the foot by even mentioning Star Wars Galaxy because they have such a hardcore fan base.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is based off of nostalgia, not actually, I mean, you're enjoying the game, yes, but, I almost can't even read massively anymore because of how much people gush over Star Wars Galaxies nonstop. And I mean, I like the game, don't get me wrong, but it's like, as soon as you mention Star Wars Galaxies, you have to have, like, everyone is going to just criticize that game no matter what it is at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if it's not sci-fi, you're already going to put a new game out to attract Star Wars Galaxy players without the Star Wars IP, and then you're going to tell them, oh, it's not sci-fi, it's post-apocalyptic. It's kind of a weird comment, almost like he's just trying to get attention.
Well, so one of the things that he said in one of his tweets is he says you can build bases, and so that eliminates fantasy, right? I mean, not necessarily, but you don't really associate bases with fantasy. I don't.
Well, I mean, it can happen. Archage going to have, bases. Darkfall, they've got bases.
Yeah, I don't know. You wouldn't call it a base, though.
Well, I mean, it's a city. You build it. And all those cities that are in Darkfall, at least before 2.0, I'm not sure about now, but all the cities that were there were built by guilds and owned by guilds and defended and captured. So.
Yeah. I would rather see a apocalyptic than a sci-fi game anyway.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: with the repopulation coming out, that's already got that whole sci-fi side of that thing handled.
I was about to say, repopulation is the next home for Star Wars Galaxy players, and it's kind of got a big sci-fi feel to it too, though. It's sci-fi post-apocalyptic.
What if they go like maybe a little bit Secret World, a little bit this and that, and then kind of put it together? I don't know. They have to be different from repopulation, though.
They went Road Warrior Online.
Road Warrior Online. There you go.
Yeah, my Kickstarter for repopulation went through, so I'm on their forums now.
Mm-hmm.
Got the badge, and I guess I'm signed up for beta. Is what my tier got me in.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it looks sweet. Especially we talked about it some last time, but the PvP rule set servers.
What got you to make that jump? Was it playing the Star Wars Galaxies emulator?
It was that, and it was really that PvP rule set document. Them committing to making an actual hardcore PvP server.
Yeah.
Because they kind of wavered on that when that last interview we did with them. I don't know if you remember that, Quint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Winnin really hates these double dipping of Kickstarters because that was their second time to go to Kickstarter.
I do.
Pathfinder's gone back twice. I mean, I get it. It's definitely gonna be frustrating, especially for someone that has donated on the first one and then they come back out again on the second one. But I missed the first one, so I hopped on the second one. Every new piece of information for that game makes me more excited for repopulation.
Yeah.
I just have two words for you: Earthrise.
Oh God, man, yeah. If this could be the next Earthrise, that would suck.
No. I mean, these guys, they nice guys, and they, I mean, that doesn't make a nice game, but they seem like they have their mindset in the right direction. But just after Earthrise, it's just very hard to have faith in any indie project that Earthrise, Dawntide. It's like
and Earthrise looked
or Prime
perfect all the way up to launch. Yeah. What was that? Dominus?
Yeah,
it was Prime at first, and then
beta.
Dominus.
Like, I played the game, and then it went away. Dawntide too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, Dominus was a lot like Dominus Prime was going to be a lot like what the project for the other Realm versus Realm game.
Oh, Dark Age Camelot Unchained?
Right. So that's kind of if you were excited for Prime, just move that excitement over to Camel Unchained.
But that's just totally different genres. Though you have fantasy versus like guns, right?
Yeah, but mechanic wise and gameplay wise, it was going to be very similar.
Yeah, that's why I don't really think like the Star Wars Galaxy thing. If it's post-apocalyptic, that doesn't mean it's still not going to appeal to the Star Wars Galaxy player. But as soon as you mention, I don't know, people are. I think when you take a game away, like Tabula Rosa or even like what was it, Auto Assault, people are like, oh man, I missed that game. But then it's like, but you never played it when it was around. It's like, I guess I don't know. People did play Star Wars Galaxies when it was around, but I think that people have these fond memories that don't necessarily always hold up. I know that's the case when I play old games. Even like the Shadowbane emulator. Shadowbane was a cool game, and now that it's gone, you're like, wow, I'd really like to play Shadowbane, but I didn't play it before it was dead. I had stopped playing it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, in the vein of reveling in nostalgia in old games, we've got some new DAOC and Ultima Online news, which I don't know if this is very good news at all. So Mythic, I think Mythic is going away. I think they're gone. Basically, EA took 14 members of the Mythic team and moved them to a new developer studio called Broadsword, and is now moving Ultima Online and DAOC from Mythic to Broadsword to be in their care. I think this is like I don't know, man, like the fourth time that Ultima has changed services.
Like if you have a shirt at Macy's and then you move it over to Ross, Dress for Less, right?
Well, I mean, this happened recently. The recent example I can think of is Pirates of the Burning Sea, where those developers stuck with the game. Yep. They wanted to keep developing the game, so they formed their own company. Mm-hmm. I forget what it's called.
But see, the difference here, Nate, is that I don't think the developing team for Pirates of the Burning Sea is under SOE anymore. I think they got out from SOE's umbrella, and they're doing
this is the same thing, right? They're not under SOE, EA umbrella. This is no longer EA.
Yeah, it's EA.
The billing is still going through EA.
Yeah, the Broadsword is another EA company.
Oh, does that not make any sense then? Why do this? I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe they want Mythic to be something else.
I thought the EA billing thing was just a temporary means while they move it over.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't know. As far as I know, from everything I've read, it said that it's still under EA's umbrella. Maybe that'll change. Maybe these guys at Broadsword, maybe there's a bigger plan in place to where these dudes are going to eventually try to buy those games out and then just have it for their own. That would be cool.
It doesn't take a lot to code UO and keep that server running.
Yeah, I know.
It's so cheap. That would probably never shut down.
Yeah, I hope not.
Maybe they're actually going to have somebody who's going to do something, I mean, it could go one of two ways. The games could either fizzle out or somebody could actually, put something into them. Like maybe revamp them a little bit. Like Dark Age of Camelot would be awesome if they, modernized it a bit.
Well, I don't think they need to modernize. I mean, Dark Age of Camelot, yeah, that would be cool. I don't think they need to modernize Ultima Online. They've tried several times, and every time a 3D client comes out, it's just no one plays it. Everyone is who's still in Ultima Online just is still in that 2D client. Now, me personally, I prefer the new 3D client. I think it's got a lot of functionality and it looks good.
And I like to screen bigger.
Yeah. I like the new client a lot.
Yeah, I do too. But there's a lot of people who are just stuck on that old client and they don't want to change. It's these are old school gamers who are still playing that game, man. No one knew was going to that,
Right.
So it's just kind of like their little slice of the world that is theirs,
I'm gonna go with this is good news, and not being under the thumb of EA as much should help these games.
I hope so. I really do. I know that the billing system for EA right now is just crazy because to find my old Ultima account, I had to do there was actually no option to find my old Ultima account. When you go to EA's billing site, to Mythic's billing site, I had to create, I basically got lucky. I type in my username and I was like, it's not signing me in. It's not recognizing this as my Ultima account. It's only recognizing my DAOC account. And so I typed my username _ UO, just trying it, and it worked. There was nothing that told me to do that. I couldn't figure it out. Like it was just random that I just tried that.
Yeah. There was a guy who commented on sent me a Twitter message on from our last cast. We were talking about UO, and there's this other shard. Like, there's a lot of UO shards. So we talk about Richard Gary. It's kind of been playing on some of them.
Yeah.
These guys have one called it's uoepidemic.com.
Okay.
And they have, and I haven't played it. I haven't got a chance to, but supposedly you can create your own cities and destroy other people's cities. So I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it too much if I haven't played it, but it's definitely, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it looks like something to look into. How cool?
Sounds very cool.
How cool would it be if this new development team decided to open up Ultima Online? Because the private server thing is so big now. What if they just made official private servers where you could go in there? That would be the way to revitalize Ultima Online, to allow people to create their own private servers within Ultima Online. What's that?
It's hosted by them, so
yeah.
So it's you have to pay or something.
Maybe or do it like Minecraft, but have it be official within Ultima Online, and that way you can't get too crazy with the things, but allow people to set their own custom rule sets, to be more lenient towards certain things, and to really kind of create their own version of Ultima Online that would be official. I mean, that if you want to revitalize a game, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
If we had our own server and our own rule sets,
yeah,
who knows how many people would play on it? I mean, there would be 1,000 UO servers.
Probably. But eventually you're going to get the good ones. The people who are really dedicated, those are going to rise to the top. And then,
Yeah, I don't know that. Well, we already kind of have that. Everyone plays UO Second Age. Everyone plays UO Forever. Everyone's going to play the Imperium 3.
They don't always get the type of support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, UO Forever is looking pretty awesome. That new patch they have for it, I want to go in and check out.
See, that's still the old client, right?
Yeah, it's the only thing. I really hate that client.
We'll play, I'm not, as hardcore as maybe I think I am, but I will play a good free shard of UO when someone does it with the 3D server. With the
See,
server.
that's
not gonna
another
happen,
thing you can do if they brought it into the actual game. You have that kind of support.
It'd also be cool to play a fresh server. The only reason why I wouldn't want to play UO the official one is because everything's maxed. I mean, you're about a decade behind on that thing.
Yeah.
So, and all the spots are taken. I mean, maybe not all the spots. You can always find a spot, but I think that it's really, I would, if they had a fresh server, I'd probably give that a definite go. But I don't know how many other people would. Probably not many.
No.
Yeah, probably not many. We had an okay time finding a spot on the PvP zones.
Mm-hmm.
On that, what's that server we played on, Atlantic?
Yeah, Atlantic that's the most popular one. So that
I played with Miguelito. We found a spot, a pretty good spot out in the desert.
It's the hardcore one we played on.
The Siege Perilous.
Yeah, I would play on that one again probably.
Yeah, that's got crazy rules, man.
You only have one character, just like that Age of Conan. If I had my choice, though, I actually have probably fonder memories of Dark Age of Camelot than I do of Ultima Online.
Yeah.
I like playing that game. I mean, I play that game a lot, and there's a lot of modern MMOs seem to have taken a step back as far as features go and classes. You know how many classes there were in Dark Age of Camelot? There was I don't know 8 or 10 per realm, and there was 3 realms. Some of them were kind of mirrored, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that in Age of Conan. When Age of Conan launched, there's 12 classes, I think 12 classes, 3 of each of the 4 archetypes. Now games launch with a lot fewer classes and a lot, I don't know, dummied up. That's basically what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
On that soapbox, I've done that many times.
Yeah.
Those servers are still alive. We should all dive into Dark Age of Camelot together one time and just see how it still holds up.
Yeah, I know. Well, my brother was huge Dark Age of Camelot, and he still plays it to this day, and he still loves it. So.
Wow, it was a fun game. I mean, definitely, you're going to take a step back in graphics playing that.
Yeah. So,
I don't. Age of Conan's a step back in graphics.
No.
Almost, it looks gorgeous
Yeah,
still.
it still looks really good. Well, it's because it's DirectX 10. You know, I mean, when that game came out, it was way ahead of its time graphically. I mean, I could barely run it on low settings on my old computer.
Yeah.
So, well, let's move on. The next up thing, Albion Online releases a dev video showing the game running simultaneously across all of its platforms. At the same time, you could watch it. I'm going to throw the video up here. I'll just throw it in the bottom corner here.
Yeah, I mean that is the appeal of this game.
So-
The fact that it's so multi-platform and multi-platform done well, and it's not dumbed down. You're not playing those Space Time Studios MMOs on your phone
Yeah.
or tablet. This is a
really
real
cool.
MMO.
Unfortunately for Cool It, though, it seems like the slowest device is the iPad. Sorry, dude.
Well, that doesn't mean I can't buy a new iPad. Well, I mean, I don't know what iPad. They're probably playing on the new iPad Air. I've heard rumors that they're going to come out with a iPad Pro. Have you heard that?
I don't follow Apple too much. So,
Yeah, I mean they got a couple months till this game comes out. I'm sure they'll have it optimized and running well on Apple.
but I mean, just based on the video, looking, the iPad being the slowest one to load, it still looks like it when they're playing it at the same time. It still looks like it's following up just fine, and it's kind of cool with the touchscreen and all that.
I see myself playing that on the iPad.
Yeah.
Just running around gathering. Like if there's anything going down, we're gonna jump on a PC or at least a laptop. But
that PvP in that game is intense. You will not be doing that on your tablet.
The game looks really cool, man. I didn't get to try the beta. I really want to try it next time it comes out. Next time they do a beta test.
Yeah, you won't want to like get way into it because there is a grind to get to those higher tiers. But you definitely want to play it and put some like a base down out in the PvP zone.
Yeah.
And the game is very cool.
do they?
What's up?
They don't have a release date, do they?
No. Not as far as I know. So, I don't know, man. It looks. I never really took a good look at it graphically, but I love the little art style that they've got going on. It's really cool.
Yeah, they put some screenshots out of their female avatars
Mhm.
because when the last alpha test there was only male characters. So
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. It looks like they're going to be the first game to actually, get an MMO across all platforms to run really well.
Contraire, how about Conquer Online?
What?
Have you played that?
No,
played what?
never heard of that.
Yeah, Conquer 2.0. I have it on my iPad. It's like an Asian-based MMO. It's kind of like a cross between Wushu and Age of Conan. I mean, Wushu and Ultima Online. I don't know. I can't play it. It's just crazy.
Oh, Conquest Online.
Oh yeah. What did I say? Yeah. Have you seen that game?
Yeah, I've never played it. It does look like what you're describing. I bet you it has just a horrible cast shot.
I don't know. It's just I've tried to play it a few times, but it is a cross Vendetta Online also, but that's a shooter.
Yeah, but quality wise, I don't know. Albion looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Which is nuts coming from a little team in Germany.
Yeah.
They're making a really sweet game. So,
well, let's move along. Nate, this one's on you, man. Worm patch. 1.2.
Yeah, so I saw this news and it almost made me. Well, it did make me download the game, but it almost made me drop Star Wars Galaxies and dive back in.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna wait a little longer and get some more out of Star Wars Galaxies, but they have a big patch coming for Worm Online 1.2. Looks like the two key features here are wagons. So before you'd have a cart with horses, and now you can have a covered wagon. I don't know if maybe it holds more, maybe it offers more protection.
That's all it takes to get you back into Worm is a cover over the wagon.
That's it.
Right.
These guys, they've really stepped up since the 1.0 patch with just growing this game immensely. The next big feature on this patch is a crafting UI overhaul. If you go to the link in our show notes, you'll see a couple screenshots of it. Right now, you have to right-click an anvil, right click something else, and then click to create that item. It's really terrible. This is more of a drag and drop system, and then you can actually see a list of recipes. It'll be a nice quality of life type of feature. Yeah, cool patch. Carry boats.
I think another big thing that'll make the game a little bit more accessible for a lot of people who are trying to get into it the first time is like, once you play it, just like Mortal, once you play it a while, you kind of don't need a map. But after, like, when you start, you really need a map, or some sort of idea of where you are and where things are and maybe where your friends are. And aren't they talking about adding a map as well?
So I'm not sure how this map will be. They are going to put maps in with landmarks. I don't know if you open it, it will show you where you're at on that map. Probably not. But you will be able to look at a map in game and see the landmarks of the server.
And maybe they can do it so where you find a map, you kill a mob and you get a map. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you die in that game, you lose your compass. You got to go make your compass again. If you die, you lose your tool belt and you lose your hotbar. So I'm sure you'll die and you'll lose your map.
So what it would take for me to play Worm again, it's a fine game. I like it. What it would take is a different combat system, I think.
You're not going to get it just with the Java. To me, it's not any better or worse than a tab target MMO. It's got even some, like if you turn right where your shield is, so when you're on a boat and you have two boats coming at each other, they'll turn and then everyone will face the direction where their shield to block the incoming arrows. I mean, you don't get that in like a tab target MMO. There's a couple things like that. The magic system. Then you're still essentially clicking on something and issuing your attacks just like you do in EverQuest all the way to WoW.
Yeah.
And now that their UI has some animations, it doesn't look as bad as it used to, where you would just see it played out in text. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, that's one game I've never tried. I think I downloaded it once and walked around, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Oh, I did, and I was like in a line. I remember the intro. Like you're in this line, and it's like you're in an amusement park ride, going around. You remember that?
Yeah, like the tutorial at the beginning. You're like, okay, this is how you walk up a hill.
Yeah. And it's
just and then okay, now open this. Now drink some water. Yes.
If we make a base there and we build up the base together, it'll be some of the most fun you've had in a sandbox game in a long while.
I believe it. It's just hard for me to get to that point because it's just so much context menus, like deep context menus.
Right, that's why this UI overhaul is cool, and they've done some like now you have an avatar, you can drag your armor onto it. Mm-hmm. That used to be context menus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but then it's like, I don't know, leveling the ground at your base. Once you're done with that, you're like, all right, I'm done. It's like,
yeah, dude, it's a grind, man.
Making this ground flat, and now I'm going to spend another 20 hours making bricks to put around it. It's like, oh, come on, man. It's like, or I can log into a game and go cut someone's head off with a sword. I'm gonna go cut someone's head off with a sword.
All these games, man, you need people playing with you, and they all become more fun that way.
With our gaming group is that the most ADD motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. It's like, I mean, we were just all playing Mortal, and Mortal's a great game. I'd love to play Mortal, but then the little shiny object over here draws my attention. I think it's nice to try to stick with something. That's why I try to figure out what you guys are playing before I decide what I'm going to stick with.
Well,
all right. So we're ready to talk about Landbark?
Let's talk about a real sandbox.
I can't go too long. I got stuff to do. It's just it's just 9 o'clock in the morning. We kind of woke up at 7:30 to get this out because it's the only time we all were available. So,
I don't know if we can call this a real sandbox. It is a Minecraft clone.
Not really.
Well, first of all, we have to keep in mind that this isn't the game yet. I mean, this is the alpha.
Super early alpha.
Actually make you watch a video when you launch the game explaining that this is the alpha.
Yeah.
Not everything's in the game. There's no mobs in the game. There's no weapons in the game. There's very little in the game. This is sort of like If you want to pay $60 for a free to play game and check it out because you're that big of a fanboy of EverQuest or whatever reason you're going to give, that was my reason.
Yeah.
Here it is. And, the game is cool, but it would be a lot more fun if there was something to kill in it.
Well, yeah. It's all coming. One thing that I noticed about it, I mean, it's kind of weird. I was trying to explain to Nate, like when you're carving out of a mountain, it's not like Minecraft. Minecraft, you chop and the block is gone. Chop, block, chop, block. With this one, it's almost like the whole world is made of Play-Doh, and your pickaxe is just like a spoon, and you just sit there and scoop out the different layers of the world with a spoon. So you can see as you're running around, they got all these nodes and stuff, and the nodes aren't like, here's a lump, all sticking out of the ground, and that's a piece of copper. It's like that ground looks a little bit copper textured. It's reddish. It's got some rocky looking texture on it. So you just go up there and you start scooping it out, and as you scoop it out, you'll eventually like take it out, and it's all different dimensions, and you'll find little extra pieces of the vein spread out, and you can kind of dig your way through it. I don't know, man. There's something really satisfying about it.
Yeah, I've watched your live streams. That's the most surprising thing is how good the game looks.
Yeah, and they just released a patch. There was a huge patch to the alpha a couple days ago, and that's actually the video I'm showing now is, don't mind my little webcam in the bottom, it's just there. That was, I made this video right after the patch came out, and instantly I noticed that it was running mainly off of the GPU. Forever it was on CPU, and with CPU, I mean, I was running at 100% usage. My computer system was completely bogged down while I was trying to stream it. They have it optimized to the graphics card now, so it runs like really smooth. I mean, frame rates, everything. It's night and day from before the patch. It's pretty good. I mean, they're just. I love the way they're being really transparent with everything, and kind of letting everyone give their feedback and really working with the community. It's awesome.
You do run into some bugs and stuff like.
Oh yeah.
Within your area, like you plant a settle or whatever, and you get this like cubic area, pretty big. Mm-hmm. With that immediate area where you own, I guess, you can just remove and add stuff, really rapidly. And, so you create a block that's a negative block. You can like take big giant chunks of land or stone or whatever out and put it somewhere else. And I noticed that a lot of times it fails. It doesn't work and it gets stuck and you have to unequip and equip it. But I mean, it's still early. One of the things that I am, so there's tiers. It's kind of like Albion Online that way, where you have like, okay, so here's tier 1 stuff. And so with a regular pickaxe, you can mine tier 1 stuff. And then you use the tier 1 stuff to make a tier 2 pickaxe. And then you can mine tier 2 stuff. And then it goes down the line that way through the different tiers.
Yeah, that's a good progression system. I like it when the game does that.
Right. But I think that they're going to. So right now there's like tier 1 areas. Like, and then there's tier 2 areas. And you have to run all the way to the center of the map to switch to the tiers. I think later on they're going to make the depths different tiers. Is that what you understand, Quint?
Well, no, because as far as I know, at least from what I've seen for EverQuest Next, is that I don't know if they're supposed to have. I don't think in EverQuest Next they're going to have different tiers like that. I know the design that they showed for EverQuest Next was they had this diagram up. It was like, here. So here was the surface of the world. And then as you go down, there's grass, dirt, rock,
right,
this and that. And then eventually you would hit a pocket. That's an opening. That would be like a chasm. And there would be monsters in there. And you dig your way down through that and you fall in. And there's like, you'd find these pockets of like, ruins or like a boss monster, things like that. And then you dig down deeper and you find some crazier stuff. They don't have anything like that in Landmark right now. The tiers are just basically different islands that have different level resources. I don't know if they're going to change that.
They have to, because it is really irritating to have to go to run 5 minutes to the center of the map, mm-hmm, and log to a different area mine your resources, then go to the center of that map, and then you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it takes, 5-10 minutes just to get to the center, you know?
right. So I mean, I think that there shouldn't be like, okay, well, all the tier one stuff is in this play. It could be in areas of the world, but why isn't there tier one stuff in the tier two area? Like, why do I have there should be copper. Like, why is there a land where there's, only copper? So I don't know if that's just an alpha thing or not. But
Yeah, it might be.
my biggest frustration is there should be little pockets in different places.
Well, the only thing I can say then is, it's alpha. Go on the forums and let them know, because they're listening to everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay, that's a good point.
mhm.
I don't know. I'm really kind of hesitant to put too much effort into leveling my tiers. Getting the better things and creating a really cool area.
Yeah.
There's lots of wipes coming.
Well,
and-
yeah, there was a point where they were wiping every night, and you start over, and it's gotten to the point now where it's kind of a stable thing. I haven't had a wipe yet since we've been playing, but we've only been on for like a week.
Right.
So
But that's why they waited to let the alpha in, is
Mhm.
they until it was stable enough so it doesn't
Yeah.
wipe all the time. Because that's one way to really turn people off.
yeah, you know what? And I have to really commend SOE for just what they've been doing with this whole alpha. I mean, they just straight up put the alpha out, and they're like, all right, you know what? We're going to drop the NDA. Like, either you guys are going to like it or you're not going to like it. Just go
They
play
dropped
with it.
Like within a day at least, right?
Yeah, it was like that day.
Well, I get
And-
they did it, in case it really, really didn't work. Like they're opening it up for the first time to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if it was just horrible, then I'm glad they did. They released it.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it.
So, and then I think John Smedley put out a tweet saying, as a company, I think we're pretty much done with NDAs unless some weird
Yeah.
special circumstance. Which, that's kind of cool. I feel like SOE is trying to change the way they're viewed by people to be more of like for the gamers, like really be involved with them. And I think more companies need to take a cue from that, specifically like EA.
People give Smedley a lot of flack, but he's passionate, man.
Mhm.
And when you follow him on Twitter, it makes you want to like the games he's making, whether they turn out like shit, PlanetSide 2 or not. He can definitely make you excited for what they're making over there. So
People like PlanetSide too. I
I
mean,
like PlanetSide too.
it works.
I just wish it had more meaning to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But-
It's just like a rotation. Take this base. Take this base. Oh, back to this base. Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Game wise, it's some cool stuff. I don't know. So are we getting a combat system in the game? Is that actually in the works? Or is that just what people think?
Yeah,
is-
no. If you pull up like your pickaxe stats, it says like damage, this and that, and so,
yeah, they're adding mobs.
yeah, it's all
the-
coming.
I don't know if they're adding PvP. I haven't heard anything about that. I wish they would. What's the point of building a base if you can't take it?
Yeah.
I just called it.
So how far are we from the game I actually care about EverQuest Next? Because Landmark to me just looks like Minecraft, and I can really take a pass on it.
It's like Minecraft.
Look, it's all the featured. It's pretty much Minecraft with better graphics to me.
It's pretty similar, man.
Feel that way when you play it to me, but there's definitely some similarities.
I think one of the ways that it stands out from Minecraft in that you're pretty much on a server with a ton of people.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
yesterday I was just. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean that's a good point. I mean, it's not like some dude has a server up. It's SOE's servers that you're playing on.
Yeah.
That would be a huge drawing, a huge feature for me. It's
Yeah.
part of the reason why I can't get into Minecraft.
Yeah,
So
And the cool thing about it is you just run around and you can see all of the crazy things that people build. I mean, people are so creative in that game. It's ridiculous. I was running from my house to try and get to the center of the map so I can go to tier 1 to farm up some stuff. And I found this like house, and it looked like just a little thatch cabin in the woods, and it was awesome the way this guy had everything laid out. It looked really good. And then next to it was this old looking ruined tower that looked like it was all broke down and like had just holes were blown out the walls. And so I went inside of it, and this guy had dug down like 50 feet straight into the ground in the bottom of this tower. Like I didn't know what was down there. And so I was like, well, I'll just see, this looks creepy. There's some stairways, and then you can just jump over the ledge and fall down the pit of doom. So I jumped down there. There was nothing down there. I got stuck. I had to evac out, but I mean, it was just like a little death trap down there, It was awesome. people are starting to get really creative. There's some really awesome builds on there.
Yeah. We'll stay in touch with that game. Come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's about all we have today, right? You want to have anything else to add?
No.
No, that's it.
Go ahead.
I would just say let's go ahead and just talk about where you can find us and all that stuff. Wrap it up.
Twitter at Sandbox Podcast. Nate is at Nate Ryle. And Quinn is at Sandbox Quint. You can also find us at www.sandboxpodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nate, what's your deal?
I think I have a Twitter list, so if you want to join that list or follow that list, you can see our tweets and the people that listen to the podcast tweets.
Oh, cool.
It's just a convenient way. While our community is small, it's a good way on Twitter to be a part of our community, I guess.
Yeah. And then as far as the video podcast and stuff goes, I mean, this is definitely the what we're sticking with. We're improving on it every time. We're using a new program today. I think it works a lot better. We're going to be doing a bunch of live streaming. Nate, you're getting into live streaming. So what's your channel, Nate, on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Nate Ryle.
All right, cool. And I'm also on Twitch, and that's where this is actually being streamed to right now, which is twitch.tv/SandboxQuint. We're also on YouTube at Sandbox Podcast on YouTube, and you'll find our videos there as well. And we're still keeping the audio version, so that's good.
And also, we also have a Sandbox Podcast Twitch channel. We're gonna have to figure this out because we got so many channels. I don't know who could find it all. But go ahead, Nate. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say that we may have to end up consolidating some of these Twitch channels.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will see you within 2 weeks. Let's make that commitment, right?
Sure.
All right. See you in game.
Peace.